Roll call, please.
Brian Geezy.
Present.
Doug Husted.
Present.
Brian Mahan. Sarashevsky present. Cody Brabilski.
Present.
For those that are able, please stand, pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And virtue card reading. Mr. Rashevsky.
I've got that. Today's virtue goes along with something that's going to happen, which is recognition. But this is helpfulness. Helpfulness is being of service to others, doing thoughtful things that make a difference in their lives. Offer your help without waiting to be asked. Ask for help when you need it. When we help each other, we get more done. We make our lives easier. You're practicing helpfulness when you notice when someone needs help, do a service without being asked, give people what they need, not always what they want, listen to someone who needs to talk, care for your own needs, ask for help when you need it. Affirmation. I'm helpful. I always look to be of service. I care for others and myself. I look for helpful ways to make a difference.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you. Board of Education guidelines. With an open mind, we will establish an atmosphere that allows expression of all views, even when views are not in line with all members. We will work collaboratively with the district administrator by having open and honest conversations around district priorities. We will work collaboratively with all stakeholders to monitor key indicators so that equitable teaching and learning results in high achievement. We will work toward building a trusting environment where both students and staff can reach their full potential and celebrate successes in academics, the arts, and athletics. And first of all, I'd like to welcome everybody here this evening. It's great to see a full house here. It's not often that we get that, so I thank you for that. At this point, the opportunity for public comments. Anybody that may wish to make a public comment this evening? Quiet crowd, quiet crowd. Well, I think this is going to be my most favorite part of the time here. The first item on our agenda is showcasing schools and student learning. We have an opportunity this evening to recognize somebody and an act that is pretty amazing. We have an individual with us, Mike Krutz. Mike, would you please acknowledge? It's good to see you, Mike. Mike Krutz joined Safeway after retiring from a career in law enforcement with the Adams County Sheriff's Department. Did you ever have to work with Brian, or was that? No, you're lucky. Thank you for your role in serving the public as a law enforcement. In his role as a bus driver, Mike continues to use his law enforcement training and experience on a daily basis. He has shown his ability to react in all situations, both normal and in a crisis. December 17th was a good example of this. Mike, along with Humpty Elementary School counselor Mr. Rod Winters, actually saved the life of a kindergarten student. Saved a life. Although the children are repeatedly told not to eat candy or suckers because they are a choking hazard, it still happens. On the afternoon of the 17th, a little girl had candy in her mouth on Mike's bus. When the bus hit the dip coming out of the Humpty Circle, the candy got lodged in the little girl's throat. Mike immediately pulled over and called Rod Winters. Between the two of them, they managed to dislodge the candy. Thanks to the quick actions of Mike and Rod, a tragedy was averted. A life was saved. Mr. Krutz and Mr. Winters, you saved a life. The little girl's mother was crying when she met the bus and thanked Mike for what he had done for her daughter. We are so thankful for the quick thinking of these two gentlemen. Mike is a valued part of the Safeway team. He enjoys talking to, and more importantly, listening to the students on his bus. Mike puts forth the extra effort each day to make a positively impact on his kids. Rod, Mr. Rod Winters. As the school counselor at Humpkey Elementary School, Rod Winters has a high degree of responsibility. He is committed to the needs of others and is consistently looking to support and serve other people. Rod is an excellent counselor because he understands that each person has a backstory, and he chooses not to judge them for it. He is a person of high integrity who has always done the right thing regardless of the impact it might have on him. The love that Rod shows is consistent to all. We are grateful for Rod's hard work to instill character and virtues in all, especially the students of Nekoosa. I am not surprised by the character Rod demonstrated when he stepped on the bus to help this kindergarten student. He sees every student as his student. He also sees every child as precious. We are grateful for Rod and his service to the families and students of Nekoosa. Mr. Winters and Mr. Krutz, again, thank you. We all hear about the tragedies out there in this world, and to hear about these things that saving a life will never be forgotten.
Thank you.
Would anybody else like to offer any words?
I would.
Yes.
I just want to say thank you guys for doing this for these two people because it is really something amazing. These are situations you hope you never encounter, and you never know how prepared anybody's going to be, but thankfully Mike and Rod were unbelievably prepared. And I know that family is just as grateful as we are, if not more so, but boy, they really stepped up their game. So thank you guys very, very much. And on behalf of Safeway, Mr. Master, sir.
Ooh, look at that.
Thank you guys very, very much.
Congratulations.
Go ahead.
And I would like to just, this is, what Safeway does for our district and has done for our district for many years. I rode the bus back in whenever, I still remember my bus number, and I still remember how bad I was. And I think I was the first student they ever put a seatbelt on a bus for because I wouldn't sit down. Some people probably remember that. But thank you, Safeway, as a team for serving us. And, Mike, you did a very special thing. But I think you can speak for your team members that they all have that. Thank you again. We very much appreciate that. And, you look at tonight, everybody's got to be safe driving home. You bring our kids to school safe and happy, and we certainly appreciate that.
And thank you guys for being here.
Yeah, to support the team.
Oh,
So I was just going to jump in there real quick, and obviously Rod and I have known each other for a long time. I'll just add one of the things that we came over from the middle school to Humpkey together a few years ago, and one of the things that Rod said right away is like, somebody just needs to be out there on that corner every day doing that bus duty. So it's nothing I ever asked him to do. He just recognized the need, make sure that kids are safe. And so him just going out there every day and just making sure it's just, it's appreciated. And obviously it was there in the right time again in this moment. So I'm grateful for him.
And, I'm so thankful to see everybody here. Would you mind just introducing yourselves and telling us what you do? Would you mind doing that?
Sure.
Is that okay?
Ann Smith, and I'm the safety director.
Dave Long, and I'm the mechanic at Nekoosa.
I'm Wendy Long, and I'm a bus aide for special needs.
Chris Williams, mechanic at Kellner.
Cole Williams and his son.
I'm Jamie Williams and his wife.
Terry Coles, I'm a driver for Safeway for 24
Herman
years.
Cole. Herman Cole's, I'm just aide.
Tracy Bordor, I'm all over.
I'm Nancy Z. I drive for Safeway.
I'm Jerry Jacobs. I'm a Safeway driver.
I'm Larson Mike, this is my wife Barb.
Barb, got a special husband there, Barb, very special.
And Mr. Winters.
Mr.
Yeah,
Winter?
introduce your family back there, Rod.
Yep,
Well, you know me, Mr. Winters, and this is my wife Kristen. She's a teacher in Port Edwards. Teaches second grade there.
And I learned of it because I saw the student's mother at an event, and she did not know I was married to Mr. Winters, and I shared that, and she said, he saved my daughter's life.
Wow. Cool.
She's very gracious.
Yes.
oh, yeah, wow. Well, on behalf of the school board and Nekoosa and Nekoosa administration, guys, thank you. Okay, the board meeting's over.
Have a good night, guys. Drive safe.
An opportunity to adjourn.
Be safe, gentlemen, ladies.
Throw down some sand on your way home.
Yeah. Be very careful.
Brian. 10 minutes.
I need to.
That was special.
Yeah. Very much so.
Brianna, step up there and call Mr. Johnson.
We're gonna let everybody get settled before we move on here. She give us the update. Do we wanna?
Nathan, did you have anything to share with CWC?
Nope.
Okay, yeah, we can move right on there.
What do you want to do?
When you're comfortable.
I'm just standing, yeah.
All
I
right.
sit enough.
Part of our overarching results, the Nekoosa Academy Business Venture, and if I could please request that when you're speaking, if you could go over by that area right in that corner over there, that would be great.
Yeah, so we get you on camera, yeah.
This camera.
Okay, so we'll.
You're advertising the
I'm not about that.
Virtue Project.
And I guess I'd like to introduce Mr. Ness.
Sure.
And you're gonna be presenting?
Yes.
Well, Mr.
Mrs.
Nass.
Leapak is
Mrs.
also.
Leapak.
Well, let's get everybody over there and
So,
get some introductions.
yeah.
All right. We got this. You want to grab that?
Just pretend that the camera's not rolling.
Okay,
Yes.
it isn't, really.
It's not.
No.
Well,
So-
I'm Bob Ness, and one of the teachers, Mrs. Leapak, is also a teacher at the academy. We have Alejandra, we have Brianna, we have Bowden,
Oh,
and
you're in the academy?
then we have Chef Matt, who has also been helping us out. So there are other kids there's a number of kids that are helping in this project, but these are the ones that decided they could make it today. Okay.
We had other ones that were coming, didn't make it. 2 of them got in an accident.
Oh, really?
So,
Yikes.
they're okay though.
I was gonna just
They're okay.
A little shook up, but.
Oh, yeah, to say the least. So anyways, I'll just start out, and the way we got this going is, I'm gonna give Mr. Whitmore some credit here, because since he came on board, he really talked about virtues a lot to the academy students, and how we should start our advisories with virtues, and have the virtue cards by their computers, and just to make it a positive environment in the academy. And so we've done some paintings based on virtues, and since then I've wanted to start a small business around virtues, And I've been thinking about this for like probably the last, 4 or 5 years, I'd say, and just didn't know how to go about it. I mean, we attempted many times, but it didn't work so well. And then when we did our graduation last year and Matt did all the food for us for our graduation, I approached him and said, "Hey Matt, would you like to work with us? You know, you have a food license and all this good stuff." And he says, "Yeah, this sounds great." So we met a couple of times and now this is where we're at and trying to get this going. And Pat Rashewski's been a big help. Also Deanna Bray, bless her heart. I don't know, those secretaries never get enough praise. They work so hard. And she does so much for us that we're really, really blessed to have her helping us out. And you know, you ask her to help and she's right there doing it. And like I said, we have a wonderful team.
So, and you worked with the chamber too, didn't you? Right?
We did, they're so busy too. We'll probably get her back involved once we try to get this up and going, because she may, if we have some glitches, which we're going to, see what she recommends, and maybe even get Mid-State, because now they have that entrepreneurship, I think, program over there. Bring them maybe on board and figure out how we could tweak it and make it better. I don't know. It's an adventure.
You're starting a business venture that involves food. What
Yeah.
else do we have here?
I know. Brianna
Well, tell
wanted
us-
some of the chocolates today. I said, "Oh no."
Are
Those are the samples
sneaking?
to go around.
Are you gonna be making the
Yes.
candy?
Mhm.
Can you tell us how that's gonna work and what you're?
Down in Matt's kitchen, down in the high school.
Okay.
Well, we have a kind of a thumbnail sketch that everyone's gonna kind of
Okay.
fill you in on here.
All right.
Okay?
Yep.
So who,
Yeah.
we got first?
So one of the bags of chocolates costs $3.80, and the retail price of one bag of chocolates is
You want to pass them
$6,
around, Mr. Ness?
which gives us a profit of $2.20 per bag,
15 for that.
or 15 per bag. Our goal is to sell 160 bags of chocolates at $6, which would allow us to earn about $1,008 worth of sales. Once the initial investment dollars are met, the cost of making chocolates will drop to $1.87 per bag of chocolates. The profit will be $4.13 per bag.
So all sales will be run through the academy. General public may pick up their orders anytime throughout the day, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., while students may pick up their orders 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. after school hour. The community has been very supportive of this project and has donated over $700 towards this venture.
Chef Matt has been very helpful in developing the business. He's donated his time and expertise in the production of the chocolates. As well as Chef Matt, Deanna Bray has been instrumental in helping us with our startup. Almost all the students in the academy are involved in the production, sales, marketing, and delivery of the Virtue chocolates.
Okay, how we started, first of all, is we ordered the molds for it. Then we bought chocolates, you know, in the bulk, and then we got bags that were ordered, which you saw as we passed them around. They're different styles of bags. Then we had the Virtues that are gonna be tagged on each bag made up. We have a total of 20 Virtues, I believe, that we have, that we can put up, and a person can choose which ones they want because they're all individualized. And then we can put that and kind of specialize their bag for their significant other or whoever it might be going to. Then we went to Matt, said let's start mixing and making some of this chocolate, so we did, and then we had, the most fun was our taste test, which you will have shortly. And that, of course, everyone enjoyed that. So we're putting the final touches on figuring out the dates. We have those pretty well set up. We have times for pickups for the chocolates. Everything's gonna be run through the academy. We will have online forms, but you cannot order online because we haven't figured out how to do that yet. So
So you would
you
print
can print
out.
out the form and then send it to us, and then we can keep track of it. We were just afraid that we don't have the expertise yet as far as online.
Maybe some other people do, but we
So
don't.
we don't yet at this point.
We're old.
So that's what we're trying, yeah, we're definitely old, but anyway. Valentine's Day is our first delivery date, that's what we're trying to work at. So we will deliver the 12th, 13th, and 14th of February.
Well, that's when the pickups can be.
Or pickups will be. In other words, you have to pick it up at the academy. We're not gonna take it to your house, unfortunately, but.
No delivery, huh?
No delivery, yeah.
And it was interesting because when we made our first round of chocolates, you know, we tested them out and said, well, can we put some in the fridge? Would that be fine? Well, we didn't cover them, and they got like a condensation on them, and they were like wet, like ugh, like I didn't like them. And then with the dark chocolate, because it's 60% cocoa, we left those out, and they got like that film, like white film on it. That the chocolate was old. So we said, oh, we can't do that either. So I mean, it's been like a testing type thing of what we need to do.
So, yeah, we'll pass these around. The dark chocolates, the dark are a little bit, I guess you would say bitter
Well,
taste. You know, it's
dark
not
chocolate's
as,
not
not
as
as sweet, okay, and then the other one is a milk chocolate, so.
yeah, and
Feel
there's
free to
a
take
couple in there that may be like a mix between a milk chocolate and a dark chocolate. There's a mixed one. So we're gonna pass around the order forms so you can see those.
Order forms, please take one, okay? As we pass them around, remember just, you know, if you wanna give them to Diana, probably here, or if you
Yeah,
wanna
she
collect
needs
them. and then
chocolate.
we'll-
She's
you know.
getting way too thin.
Yeah.
So does Lynn. Lynn needs chocolate.
So, can I ask, what have you guys learned through this process? What's been most striking?
How to work with each other in the kitchen. It's kind of tight in there, so trying to work around big guys like Elliot
Get
and
behind them too.
trying to figure out how we're gonna get along when we're that close in proximity,
So some
and
soft skills.
teaching people kitchen etiquette, how to wash their hands after they touch anything on them. Gloves, obviously. Michael's beard. Got to get him some beard nets.
Ah, interesting.
And plus, there's so much involved in this. There's your sales, there's your marketing, there's, everything about running a business, your accounting, all of that stuff. So, I mean, for practical reasons, this is perfect for them to learn. Running a business is a huge adventure, and it's a lot of time.
So can you talk about that in the academy, as far as, your profits and all that? How are you doing that?
What are you doing with the
How are you teaching that, or how are the students involved in that process? Just the numbers when they're coming in and figuring out the profits and
Well, we have
ordering and
we have a
everything.
ledger that has started with all of the expenses that we've had so far, and then plus the donations that we've had from the community members. We offset that, and then what we're going to do is once the sales start coming in, we'll teach them a little bit about the accounting process, how it balances and how we can make a profit or not make a profit if the sales aren't there.
Right.
So it's gonna be a learning process. At this
That's
point, I've been basically doing that part of the accounting of it, but the students will learn that.
Which that's how we're blessed too, because he's run a business before. I never have. This is just a pipe dream for me. So it's like, ooh, like what am I really getting into?
I may have missed it, but what is the plan with any profits? Did I miss that? Or?
That would go into student activity account.
We can
The
also
profits.
take profits and reinvest in the business.
Right.
Then we can expand this a little farther. Maybe start doing filled chocolates. Maybe a whole different candy altogether. As farther we go along with it, expand our sales.
And for now, we're starting out small.
Mhm.
We're going to do Valentine's Day. We'll do Easter. Starting up next year, we'll do Halloween. We'll do Christmas. We'll do one a quarter, because basically I think that's about all we can handle with everything else that has to be done.
One of the things that I was involved in that was kind of cool was I took Miguel, who was in the car accident.
No, not Miguel. Marshall.
Oh, Marshall. Oh, I thought Miguel, Elliot was with him.
Yes.
Okay, but anyways, Miguel's not here. I took Miguel and Bowden to the bank and actually went through the process of going through a business loan. with their loan officers, and it was pretty cool, wasn't it? Learning experience.
Definitely.
Definitely, yeah. And it was pretty cool. They told us how to do this, and it was neat.
And many of those jobs that, are incorporated in this business, kids will overlap because they'll have to. In case somebody's not there, everybody's gonna need to know so somebody else can take over. So they'll be doing spreadsheets, databases of all the orders that come in. Yeah, so it's a huge learning adventure. Pray for us. That, yeah.
I really like the packaging. Were you guys? Where'd you get that logo that's on the bag?
Oh, Miguel made that.
Tell us about that.
Not
I
Bowden.
really-
Bowden made the
Miguel's
order form.
Order form.
Bowden made the order form.
Okay.
Bowden, anything else you want to share? We haven't really heard.
I really like this logo of the tree.
I do too.
That's
Yeah.
neat. Did you
With the
come up with
VC in it.
Oh no, Lee Peck and Ness, they kind of came up with it. It's
Okay.
Miguel that kind of put it all together. Found the
Yeah, because he
program
knows
that
the
we used.
computer guru stuff.
Okay.
We do. Yeah. We just come up with ideas and say, hey, do this. See what you can come up with.
I really like the nutrition label. Who came up with those?
That was also Miguel, which wasn't here.
And
Which,
gotta-
the nutrition thing's on the back, because you have to have that, but,
They're doing it
so-
the way they're supposed to.
it's, like I said, it's just an adventure, and we'll
Yeah.
see where it goes.
These are the different virtues that we decided on, where people can pick out what they want, and we'll have them all separated, and then we'll tie them on with the ribbon, and then we use the sticker with our logo on it, and that's how we present it. So you can pick really one of 20 different virtues that the kids chose.
So for ordering for Valentine's Day, the deadline's February 6th, and with the 8th being an in-service day, we've asked the kids that want to come in to make all the orders to come in on that day, so we can start, so they're willing to do that. Most kids would go, woohoo, day off. Well, I said, no, it's not. We have to work.
We'll be in the kitchen making chocolates
Awesome.
and getting the packaging ready and all
I
that.
really gotta give you a shout, Matt, for supporting us and teaching these students the skills.
Yeah, anytime we can get any students in the kitchen, it's always it's a good time, and it's something they'll use the rest of their life. Even if it's not in a business, you always gotta eat. So the more times you can handle food and see the beginning and end process, the better.
When I think about Elliot going down there and him really like, oh, I gotta stir this. Okay, now I'm doing this. I mean, he's so into this.
Yeah.
So that might be a field he wants to go into. I don't know. The food industry. So there's all kinds of perks as far as what these kids can learn.
Hey, if you keep bringing treats to us,
We can do that.
pretty happy.
We have a lot of order forms.
Okay, I got an order form right here.
Like I said, it'll be interesting the farther we take this. Maybe another year from now we're doing filled chocolates, or maybe we'll get in the venture of doing flavored white chocolates, stuff like that. I mean,
Mr. Whitmore
it's all about
stopped
getting
in
out there.
the other day and saw what we were doing, and he says, well, on the back here, is there a way you could put something on the back about that when you're eating one, you're building on this virtue? See? We're building on this virtue. Maybe some calories too, but we're building on this virtue.
I just had a joyfulness.
See, there you go.
Candy.
But put on their building character or something. So I looked into maybe getting a stamp where we could just stamp it on the back, and that would make it easier.
Well, thank you guys for sharing.
And I wanna say, building character, just for you guys being here tonight to speak to us about this project means a great deal.
Well, thank you for allowing us to come. I know it was short notice, and I appreciate
We
that.
moved you up.
I know, and I thank you for that. I
And
thank you. We all
again,
thank
I
you.
got my order all filled out, I just need the money, so I'll stop over.
All right.
be safe, guys, when you get
Yeah.
out there.
You guys too.
But the students, I can't say how much I appreciate your
So,
efforts.
so for community members that want to purchase, where do they get, because this will be televised before the 14th.
Community members, I believe, will be able to see the order form
They'd have to fill it out and then drop it off at the academy. So that
Online, we can leave these here with you if you
they
like.
could go to the front office or they can just come to the academy.
Okay.
You want us to leave some with you?
Sure. Because Deanna is the one that's been helping us an awful lot with this, so she'll know.
Where is it online? Is it on the Academy website? Academy?
Well, I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
We're getting to that point.
The
We're
paper,
just-
yeah, if people wanna order them, they
Right.
gotta pick up the paper ones. Very
Yep.
good.
Yeah, and we'll leave some here, and so you'll have them, and then we'll have them at the academy or in the high school too.
Oh, very
And
good.
Brianna's gonna make some flyers, hopefully, and so we can put them in and send them over to the principals and have them put it in the schools and.
No, I think we'll have to look for an update after your Valentine's Day event and just, yeah, keep it up, guys. Thank you.
Thank you for allowing us
Thank
to.
the rest of
No,
the
Dad.
crew,
Yeah,
the candy makers.
Yeah.
Somebody eat these chocolates. Really?
Really, Brianna?
Okay,
Do you
John,
want
got
one?
one more.
No sense taking them home.
That's right.
I've already had
Nathan's had two, so.
I've already had two.
One up.
You're gonna have four, Nathan, come on. Hey, Nathan, maybe we'll have to make like an apple crisp one or something like that, you know. 'Cause I know about
Research and development, Ann, I'm here for you.
I know.
All right.
Please safe, guys.
Yeah, drive slow. Lots of space between vehicles.
Yeah. Well, as we move forward here, I would like to introduce Mr. Brian Grohl, Director of Student Services. Do you have anything that you'd like to discuss this evening?
I'm actually gonna speak more when we get to the open enrollment availability, so I'll be
Very,
more specific.
very
then.
good. And Ms. Knight, the same thing?
Well, I was wondering what you wanted to do, because I was gonna talk about, go into a little bit more depth on the treasurer's report and the, PMA, models, if you'd like. I can wait till the,
Why don't we do that when we do the other part?
Perfect.
That'll
Okay,
fit-
good. Yep,
that'll fit
sounds good.
together well. And I would like to now introduce, let me get this right, Ms. Lee Pear.
First name.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss the first name.
Eleanor.
Miss Eleanor Lee Pear. Thank you for being here this evening. And you are the student representative.
Yep, I'm taking Bruce's place tonight.
What, is there anything you want to share with us this evening?
Well, we just did a Winter Spirit Week, and we're working on one for Valentine's Day week right now. And then also Student Council is getting ready to launch a new student group that's about creating a better environment for our students to be comfortable with growing, and hopefully that will also take place into leading into the middle school to prepare them to come to the high school.
Fantastic. And you're on the school board, student council. And how long have you been on the student council?
Since 6th grade.
Since 6th grade. You've got some experience. So Winter Spirit Week, what kind of activities did you do for Winter Spirit Week?
We mostly did just dress up days, and
Okay.
then we did a fun day the day before we went on winter break. Yeah, so that's really all that we did that week.
It hasn't felt like real winter yet, but,
No.
you know.
I mean, tonight it does, but.
Tonight it does. And the next thing, Valentine's Day, you said?
Yeah, we're doing a Valentine's Day, trying to make a volleyball tournament, and maybe we had a meeting today talking about doing like a beanbag tournament, and then doing a scavenger hunt through the passing periods throughout the day, on the Friday.
And that's in conjunction with, for everyone, and anyone watching on TV too, on February 15th, we have, it's called Pack the House. So it will be both boys basketball and girls basketball at home that night. So it's a great chance to come out and get to see a girls game and a boys game, all in the same place, all in the same night. So
Cool.
Chili for Charity is on the 16th too then.
Ooh, Chili for Charity, on the 16th, and the hours for Chili for Charity, do you know?
I believe it's 11 to 12, to 2.
11 to 2, and that's a function that's carried on by the
National Honor Society.
National Honor Society. And the proceeds of the Chili,
I think we decided this year to give it to Jeremiah's Crossing.
fantastic. The chili is wonderful. Are there gonna be bowls and other
There are going to be
items?
bowls, yeah.
Those are very neat. Those bowls are made by the art classes. I have 4 of them at home now. I need to add more to my collection. Thank you very much. Any other questions, any board members? Eleanor, thank you for your time this evening, and take what you hear back to the student council. So, the next part on the agenda is the board district administrator relations, and an item that's on the calendar was monitoring district administrators' performance. Our current policy, BSR 5E, calls for annual evaluation of the district administrator. The full formal evaluation is to be completed by June 15th of this year. And we do that so that it can encompass the entire school year, 2018-19 school year. For January on the calendar, it's kind of a checkup for us to review where we are with regards to the operational expectations and results policies that have been reviewed to date. Each board member was provided with a copy of the strengths and weaknesses as identified. This is a item that we probably need to revise the policy a little bit for this January review, but each board member was provided a summation. These indicate the strengths and weaknesses of each. This is a 6-month checkup that we need to incorporate into the policy itself. The formal evaluation and summative narrative will be provided by June 15th of this year. This will allow us to evaluate all of the items that are on the policy governance calendar for the current school year. Terry, as the lead learner and visionary for the district, has been working diligently to move our district into serving students in a 21st century learning environment. Change is not easy. We have come a long way, and the work that has been done is paying dividends. As the district administrator, there is always a target on your back. You are to be congratulated on your steadfastness in promoting and supporting a model that in many ways exceeds our counterparts. The educational practices that we are undertaking are leading edge, and we truly believe will enable our students to readily transfer. As always, we can always improve, and we need to be mindful of our stakeholders' expectations. Thank you, Terry, and we look forward to continuing the work through the rest of this school year and beyond.
Thank you.
So thank you for your service and this 6-month checkup. You passed. We do appreciate
Get
your
back to
work.
work now.
Now you gotta get back to work. Thank you, Terry, for what you do for us. At this time, we are going to move into the financial aspect. Ms. Knight, the floor is yours to
Thank
cover
you.
those items. Yeah, I need to mention one other thing. Congruent, or what do you say when you're doing it together?
Well, at the same time.
We did it at the same time. When we did the review with Terry, we approved the administrative contracts for the administrators within the Nekoosa School District. So that item has been addressed, Terry's as well as the others.
For the next 2 years.
For the next 2 years, so. Lynn, it's yours.
All right, so every year at this time, I bring the audit report to the board for approval. You have a memo in your board packet. I distributed the financial report to each of the board members back in December. I'm sure you read it cover to cover and probably had a lot of questions. So I can give you just a summary of what happened at the audit. The 2017-18 school year ended on June 30th, 2018, and the auditors arrived in July. They spend about a week in our district, and they go through a sampling of entries, of journal entries, of cash receipts, disbursements. They look at payroll, internal controls, just about everything under the sun when it comes to an audit. They also actually test some major programs. For example, we have state programs and we have federal programs. For the federal program this year, they tested the child nutrition cluster, which is our school nutrition program. And for the state programs, they tested our generalized equalization aid, our SAGE, and our per pupil adjustment aid. And all of those programs are basically looked at pretty in-depthly when they tested as a major program. And I'm happy to report that there were no findings in any of those programs. So that's always a you-rah-rah for us. So what happened in 17-18? Our operating funds, our general fund is Fund 10 and Fund 27, which is the special education fund. Those are our operating funds. And when we talk about how we did as a district, those are the two funds that we specifically look at. At the end of the year, the special education fund is required to have a zero balance. So if they end up where expenses are exceeding their revenues, DPI requires that we do a transfer from the general fund to the special education fund to basically balance it out. So when we looked at the general fund, Fund 10, our expenses exceeded our revenues by $285,786. And if you can remember back in October when we passed this year's budget, we are also projecting about a $300,000 deficit for 18-19. The community service fund is a separate levy, bless you. And we actually put money into the community service fund, which is Fund 80, to the tune of about $35,000. Now, that's where the police liaison is paid out of. That's where the daycare is paid out of. So, and there's the community outreach coordinator over there that's paid out of that as well. So we do try and utilize those funds in the year that we levy them. Unfortunately, last year we put money into that fund balance. So the fund balance in the general fund represents about 22% of operating expenditures. Now, there's not a steadfast rule on what that percentage should be because each school district is funded at a different level, whereas we're 2/3 funded by the taxpayers, another district may be 2/3 funded by the state. So the timing of those payments really affects what your percentage of fund balance should be. In order to stop our short-term borrowing, I am estimating that our fund balance would need to exceed $5 million because we are so heavily reliant on the taxpayers. The auditors provided us with an unqualified opinion, which means a clean opinion, and I am recommending that the school board approve the 17-18 fiscal audit report. After the motion, I do have a comment to make in addition for the auditors.
Very good. At this time, I'd like to call for a motion to approve the financial audit as presented.
So moved. Second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, thank you. We had a partner, we are with Whiffley currently, and our partner in charge has retired last year. So he was not part of the audit team this year. It was disappointing that that we did not have a partner in charge that showed up at our district, and it was I did not receive the services that I expected, and I was a little disappointed in some of the comments that the partner made without even stepping foot in our district. And it was made on the day the report was due to the Department of Public Instruction. So I was very disheartened. We had a conversation, and he knew I was very unhappy with what the services he provided and the comments that he made. And he did admit that we did not get the service that we paid for. And I was glad he admitted it, but I am still very disappointed in the service that we provided for the price that we're paying. So I feel that now is the time to go out for bid for our auditors again, just to see what type of prices we can get. Maybe we can lower our prices a little bit. And it's always nice to have some fresh eyes look at our financial picture as well. I I issued a survey to my colleagues, and most of my colleagues are either going with Schenck or they're going with Hawkins Ash Bapti. So those two firms will absolutely get a request for proposal from us. I'm sure there are other auditors that I'll be researching, but I just wanted to let you know that I will be doing that probably within the next month.
Is there a specified contract year with regards to those audit services?
Typically, they issue a contract for 3 years, and then it's on an annual basis,
Okay.
yearly after that. We're on the yearly after the 3-year contract. So I do believe that Whippley is expecting that we're leaving, based on my conversations.
Very good.
So I'll
Thank
keep you posted.
Thank you for the update, and congratulations on
Yeah.
a good audit again.
Congratulations, us, all of us, we all did it.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Lynn, and at this point, Mr. Brian Grill.
Yep. So, as part of your board packet, I gave you our open enrollment projections. So every January prior to open enrollment season starting, we have to decide whether or not the school board would like to place caps on for our students with disabilities. 2 years ago, we did this for the first time just because, as we know, with our financial situation and trying to keep case management numbers to a manageable amount for our special education teachers, we decided to put caps on our special education enrollments. So in front of you, what you have is the projected of where we have open seats across the district and where we do have some availability to take on new students. I will say right now we are capped in quite a few areas. The good thing though, as I look at our open enrollments in versus open enrollments out, which is the very last page, this is the last year where our open enrollment outs outnumber our open enroll ins. Because the ones that are continuing to be open enrolled out are students who have been for a number of years open enrolled out. And some of those are hitting their senior years in high school. So next year, I'm projected to have more students open enrolled into our district than out. So that's exciting news, but that's also explaining why we are capped in quite a few areas. So, but what would happen here if you decide to place caps on our students with disabilities? I keep track of this number, and as students move into our district and then as they apply for open enrollment, Lynn and I have a process. When she receives an open enrollment request, I request a copy of the individualized education plan and determine, because it's not number of students necessarily that I look at the units available. And I have to calculate the services that they receive to say, do I have enough units available for that student to attend here. So it's not just a strict number of students. I look at each kid individually and calculate their units.
Our capacity to what we can.
Exactly.
Very good.
Because and just so you know, if you decide to place caps, this is why I'd be working the numbers in front of you. That's why I would have to work with till this time January. If you decide not, any open enrollment student that applies, we must take on, and we may not have the budget to add on another special education teacher or other resources available.
Is this the second year or third year that we've done this?
I want to say second or third. I can't remember off the second. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a difficult situation, but there are capacity issues, and we need to be, we need to be aware of that.
And I would say over the last year, we've had several instances where we've turned people away, right?
Yes, we have.
Very good. Any further discussion? Okay,
Do you have any questions or?
I don't. Okay.
And how they're calculated, just so you know, there's a DPI model that I have to follow to calculate units, and that's where all those numbers came from.
And one of the important things too is the reimbursement rate that DPI is holding us to in regards to special education students. I think we're only allowed $12,000 now.
Yeah. Whereas,
And it used to be you got to recoup some of your, all of your expenses.
correct.
And now you don't. So it's $12,000 and that's it.
Because before, what I could do, say for example, if there's a student with disabilities that had physical therapy, OT, all these additional costs, there would be the open enrollment, and then I'd calculate all these other charges as well. And then, like Lynn said, we get full reimbursement. But now all we get is $12,000. Any of those additional costs, those are costs that are coming out the district's pocket. So
you could be bringing somebody in that costs 60,000 and you only get 12. So
correct.
So caps do make sense.
Very good. At this time, I would like to call for motion to place caps on special education enrollment as presented, as well as to place caps on the Nekoosa Virtual Wise Academy of not to exceed 150 virtual students total, and to not set caps on regular education students for the open enrollment space availability for the 2019-2020 school year.
I'll move that.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Educational options. Informational only.
yeah, so this is something that the law requires. We need to, and Diana's working to get this posted in the newspaper. We have to state our educational options that are available to students in our boundaries. We have to release information on our accountability reports, and then also mention the special needs scholarship program. So it's informational only, and this is something that's posted on the website as well.
Very good.
Brian, did you want to add anything?
Just with the special needs scholarship program, just so you know, that's not something often utilized in our area, because what it is for our families of students with disabilities, if they would like to look into a private school setting or things of that and get tuition reimbursement from our district, the private schools they have to look to have to be approved as a private entity that can take students with disabilities and have services. And the closest one in our area is out in Wausau. But first two, they have to apply for open enrollment and be denied due to caps to at least 3 other districts before they qualify for this tuition reimbursement. So we have to legally let parents know of the program, but I'll say in our area, it's not utilized due to because the travel and things of that nature. So it's usually more utilized in areas, larger populations, more private schools who are participating in the program.
Thank you.
And they have to provide their own transportation, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very good. CWSA contract. This tonight, I believe, we want to discuss some of the items related to the contract. The Governance Council of CWSA has done a great deal of work with regards to reviewing the contract, updating the contract to reflect the current practices. They've also noted there's one big change in that they're looking at serving grades 4 through 8. We initially thought that this may be a possible typo, but it wasn't intentional. And this is something that's important to us, as there might be some opportunities. But there's nobody here from CBSA, but
Nathan's been.
Nathan, yeah, I'm sorry. Nathan's here.
True.
Do you want to talk about that?
And that is a piece that, and I can't speak entirely for theirs, as we're having that, would review those at various pieces along there. And the 4 through 8 was a piece that was, that's close to what was there in the past contract.
Yeah.
And that sort of rolled forward in many ways. That does not mean that there are, now remember that this contract is approved in 5-year increments. And of those things, there's not plans to be able to move to expand by a year going into the next school year, or those areas. I believe that they put that in to preserve flexibility as those comes over those areas, because rather than, if they do, just be able to have, over the course of the last 5 years, it went from grades 4 through 8 to 6 through 8, and that change was made. Because they had prior approval for that grade range, they didn't need to come for change the contract. As we're moving for this other one, there are currently not any plans to expand to those, but given that this goes over a 5-year period, that allows the flexibility within that area.
And that's one of the issues as well that we need to address, is the length of the contract.
Mhm.
And again, I think discussions will need to occur over the next month for approval. This contract needs to be signed by when, Terry?
Well, the contract can only be for 5 years, so.
Right.
So July 1st, it would be the start of the new contract.
July 1st.
Yeah.
But at this point, we are looking at possibly doing just a 1-year contract. And this is partly in response to some of our budgetary concerns and looking at what services we may be able to continue to offer. It's a very difficult decision. We want CWSA and STEM have performed admirably, and they provide a way of learning that fits very well for some students, and they've accomplished great things. But we need to look at the budget considerations. I have had the opportunity to speak with a number of the Governance Council members on this subject. We may indeed be looking to have to, with our budget being in the red, gentlemen, and Lynn knows this very well. What we're able to offer is hard to be able to say from year to year based upon our funding. Am I correct?
So essentially, a 1-year contract versus a 5 gives the district some flexibility.
Correct.
Should they need that.
Right.
Correct.
The other piece that I'd add too is, in having that conversation for 8, and I've certainly had a conversation with some of the other council members, is right now our 5th grade, our 3rd grade, 4th grade numbers are high. And actually this year we've added an intern at 4th grade to support the numbers there. So we've got an intern that we work with UW Stevens Point on. So I'm thinking in my head, and certainly we've had some conversations about this, but we got to work on it and work with the council on it, and Alexander Middle School. if those numbers, if they were to include fourth and fifth grade, that would give us a greater flexibility as a school, and that was one of the intentions as we brought CWSA online, is we always had just beyond enough kids for 3 sections. So they've always been pretty good sized classes up there. So if there was some flexibility in those years where we had fourth and fifth grade served by CWSA, that helped bring down the numbers at Alexander Middle School. So it's just something that we need to be thinking about and talking about and having conversations with CWSA on, because they've moved away from it for a reason.
And we need to honor the governance council and their position as an instrumentality of the district, and you know, they have to have some control over what they feel is appropriate for their needs. So I think over the next month we need to have those conversations with the governance council. You know, when it comes to these budgetary issues, you know, we may be one of those districts, as we've saw in those last election cycle with referendums, to be able to provide needed services, services such as this might be on the table for that. And that's a very difficult thing to say. But as we as a district have those numbers in the red, we have to be, you know, it's something that we as a board need to actively work on, work with our stakeholders, work with our needs analysis, and you know, there's, you know, Lynn and the administration have done great work looking at the numbers. So I don't know, Carrie, is there anything else that?
I guess, Nathan, do you have anything that you'd like to share?
Well, just as a note is that, again, as we're working to be, as with any area, the CWSA has, with its enrollment, with the grades it's been able to take, expanding, changing from one year to the next, really the plan is not to necessarily use it in accordion fashion. Chances to double down on a model and help them get good at it. And, you know, just one of the other models that we've been exploring involves having the CWSA teachers pair with our fifth grade teachers, particularly in the teaching of science, to create some additional STEM opportunities for AMS students, and to be able to enrich what's happening in the day school over on AMS is a win-win for both, because that's not only an opportunity to get a more vibrant science curriculum and hands-on those type of areas, but it also introduces the students to be able to what that model would look like as they're moving into CWSA. Mm-hmm. So as it is right now, to be able to say, CWSA, again, I need to present it as it is not in competition with AMS. It is an alternate delivery model. But to be able to have understand what that alternate delivery model looks like and what that can entail, especially a fifth grader needs to be in position to be able to have a hands-on choice rather than just something they get presented to them on paper. And so as we're talking about relieving pressure and being able to help support those other grades as they're coming through there, one of the models we're exploring is being able to help or have both schools work more hand in hand as opposed to just in silos as we have more to a degree. And so there's multiple ways to be looking on it, and that's probably a conversation, as we're holding these conversations, understand that we're trying to push out into different ways too, to be able to help support all students in the district, not just one set or the other.
Very good, yep. And, you know, I think, again, we need to honor the work that the Governance Council has done. The teachers within CWSA and the opportunities that those students have been afforded. You know, I think there's, you know, we were here when the thing started, and it's fantastic to see, you know, John, you had a big part of that development. And, you know, that's something that we value as a district. Again, like you say, Mr. Black, as an opportunity for other, you know, ways for students to learn, and students that might learn better in that project-based environment.
So could I suggest that perhaps we get a couple of board members at an upcoming council meeting, we can chew on some of these topics? Because the other topic too that we should be talking about is, right now there's 26 students there. We will have perhaps some 8th grade kids leaving. So how can we support in making sure that we get numbers there next year that, merit both staff members that are currently serving, or, how do we respond? So maybe we can get on there. When do they meet?
Generally, they're meeting on schedule. They meet on generally the third Mondays. We didn't hold a meeting yesterday, but
So we'd be looking at the Monday preceding our next board.
But when we're talking about more than just what are next steps of it, there's going to need to be some coordination with that. So let's just dig a little bit deeper and then
Yeah, maybe they'll hold a
set some
special
times.
meeting. Yeah.
I would offer to be present. I've worked with them pretty closely.
It's third Monday, I can't.
Well, if we do an impromptu day, maybe we'll drive you together.
We'll sort that out as we get a bit closer.
Very good.
Just the third Monday's the only bad one, if that's the one they normally do.
Well, and again, as I'm not a board member, I can't speak for the whole board is working here. We'll just need to get a little more details as we come.
Yep. Okay, I think we can move on. Anything, Mr. Black, did I miss anything? Mr.
Nope.
Moore?
No.
And certainly board members, if you have questions, as you look at it more, please send them our way and we'll work with the council on that.
Yep. Okay, the next thing we have, policy governance. Operational expectation number 11, instructional program. This is a very, very in-depth operational expectation. We met last week Thursday and discussed this. I would like to thank Mr. Black for the time that you spent with us going over it. Mr. Johnson, I have some comments I'd like to just read, and board members, this is kind of a summation of our discussion. I would ask that, if there's anything you'd like to add or improve. The instructional program as presented in OE11 is very robust. It encompasses definitive practices and standards-based instructional and learning methodologies from pre-K through K-12. Much work has been done with regards to ELA and mathematics. The transition to the workshop model and implementation of college preparatory math for grades 6 through 10 has involved much work, and as outlined within this document, has support for the continuation and strengthening of practices within these areas. There is ongoing work with regards to evaluating how we assess comprehension, and curriculum that aligns with the Common Core standards. The work that is being done with regards to AP courses as well as dual credit courses continues to grow and provide more opportunities for our students. It also provides for diverse learning opportunities to meet individual student needs. Examples include CWSA as well as virtual learning. These are but a few of the practices and strategies outlined within this operational expectation. The addition of in-house instructional coaching is a strength and has been well received, and there is still support for other instructional coaching opportunities. Adequate resources are available at this time. However, the continuation of the supports is something that will be a challenge in funding from a budget standpoint. Resources that are needed to further the opportunities available to our students are becoming very difficult to support financially. Administration, teachers, and support staff are to be congratulated not only on the body of work that has been completed, but the ongoing work and support needed to prepare our students for their future beyond our walls. It's a very in-depth document and encompasses more than we could discuss in 3 or 4 nights of work here. But I think as a board we can say, based upon the policies and what's presented in here, that we have a system that is designed for the 21st century learner and provides for the supports of students of all needs. Any concerns, comments, questions about the summation of our discussion from last week Thursday? It seems to be a very short, and Nathan, was I accurate in that?
No, thank you.
I was not accurate?
No, no. I said, thank you, it was
No,
accurate.
I thought you said I wasn't accurate.
No,
You're not accurate. It's a very brief statement on a very broad subject, and that was difficult to do, because of
But
the
you,
depth.
you did, I think you did a really nice job summing it up.
Yeah. I would encourage anybody that is interested in looking at the depth and the research and the body of work that is there. I would encourage anybody to look at this document, and it's just fascinating from the start to the finish, as to the rigor and to the tenacity and just what we're doing to do the best that we can for our students.
And I think it really matches up well with what we talked about last month too.
I
mean, it just shows, kind of gives a picture of what's happening across the district. And everybody's working hard to make that happen, so.
And I just want, some of these programs are just in their infancy. They're just getting going. And I firmly believe that when they get rolling, it's gonna be pretty good. It's gonna be awesome.
The dividends shall come from
Yes.
the work that's being invested. And I guess, Mr. Johnson and Mr. Spring, any comments, or did I miss anything?
No.
And we were looking at that.
No, we're good.
And, again, you guys all deserve a great deal of thanks and appreciation for what has gone into this. And that's one of the things I tried to get in here was that, that in-house instructional coaching. As we develop teachers and other support staff within the district that are working with peers, those kind of teams are kind of evolving, and they grow, and they develop traction and just go forward. So we've got to continue to do that. Thank you, guys. We didn't find any non-conformances. In the absence of any other discussion, I would like to call for a motion to approve OE11 instructional program as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. GP9, Board Member Covenant. This one is relatively straightforward. Do you want to just read what the...
I'd be happy to. To build, board member covenants is to build and maintain productive, effective relationships. Board members shall maintain communication and interaction that builds upon mutual respect and trust, embodies civility, and respects decisions made by the full board. This process will be monitored annually. So accordingly, members will focus on issues, not people or personalities, respect decisions of the full board, exercise honesty in all communications, make every reasonable effort to protect and promote the integrity and positive image of the district, one another, and the district administrator and staff. Employ the following format to submit items they wish to have the board deliberate. Define the problem, propose a solution, a possible solution, and propose possible board action.
Thank you, Terry. The board finds this to be itself in compliance with policy GP9. This board has embodied the intent of the covenants outlined above. Although we may not always agree and feel, we may not always agree, we feel comfortable discussing difficult items. We honor the positions and viewpoints that each of us may have, and in bringing those items to the table, it enables us to make and agree on decisions that embody effective board member stewardship. So we've done a good job as a board in honoring the covenants, so.
And this policy, there was quite a bit of discussion at Thursday night too, so that was good, I appreciate that. And Cody, thanks for the email follow-up.
So,
I'd like to make a motion that the board finds itself in compliance with policy GP-9, board members covenant.
I'll second.
we have a motion and a second, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Thank you, gentlemen. Consent agenda. Ms. Knight, you wanted to speak on?
I did. I know that you approved Beth's retirement last month, but I was ill, and I just wanted to say a few words
Yes.
about Beth. I hired Beth back in July of 2011, and she's been here for 7.5 years. She took that job and she absolutely made it her own. She is one of those individuals that can think outside the box. She can look at a situation and think of it so logically. When I needed somebody to bounce an idea off of that wouldn't get emotionally involved, Beth would be my person to go to. She has been such a great addition to the Nekoosa School District. She really honed in on procedures. Everybody in this district knows what is expected of them in regards to purchasing. So she's implemented a lot of new procedures. We have a lot of automated procedures because of Beth. So she is going to be missed so much, and I'm just so happy that we had the opportunity to work with her, because I think we're all better because of Beth. So I'm so sad to see her go, but I'm so happy that she's getting to do what she really wants.
She's going to do something she wants.
Yeah, so that's.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, yeah, thank you, Beth.
Thanks for the kind words, Lynn, because that, you laid it out exactly how it's been.
Yeah.
We're gonna miss her.
Anything in regards to
John's got it.
Yeah, and well, I'm anticipating the next one. I just also want to take a moment to honor Jane Santora and her service to the district over the last several years and her role in helping kids learn music and get excited about music. And we just want to wish her well in retirement, and again, just appreciate who she is and what she brought to the district and her skills. So thank you, Jane.
Thank you, Jane.
Thank you, Jane.
Thank you. I had several fifth graders I was talking with right afterwards as they learned the news. They're like, she's the only teacher they've known in that sense. They were in music over that area, and they were just very appreciative of the work that she's done very much. And when you're missed by your students, that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for adding that. That's big.
Yeah. And
Can we read donation?
yeah, Cody's been doing that
Oh.
for us, but I
No,
want,
you
do
take
you want to
it,
do
Cody.
it? Do you want to do it, or are you
I'll
gonna,
take
are you
it.
gonna jump up and down a little bit? We
All right.
gotta celebrate something.
We got donations here. The First Congressional Church from Rapids donated $2,223 to be used towards our outstanding lunch balances. So thank you.
How much?
$2,223.
How much?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And we also have some great donors here for Backpack for Kids, $180 for Sacred Heart Collections, $130 from Bethlehem Lutheran Church, $100 from the Rollmakers HCE, and $150 from the NHS class of 1958. So thank you guys.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
Woo, that's going back.
Any other comments?
We've got some hirings,
Yeah.
employment.
Do you want to
Oh.
discuss any of those?
Just
I guess, yes. We just would recommend that the individuals listed be hired, and we're grateful to have those people join our team, Holly Olson and Jennifer Pulvermacher, and I'm sure.
Yeah, Becky, we posted Beth's position, and now Becky was hired, and she's training with Beth until the end of January, so she's gonna be up to speed. we're really happy to have her on board.
Very good.
As a note, is the first grade teacher, Holly Olson, she's been serving as our intern in fourth grade for the past half year. And she will be very much missed. She's really a phenomenal teacher, and we're grateful to be able to keep her in the district long term.
Fantastic.
And just to add one more thing, Jennifer is coming to us from Port Edwards, who, she's been serving over there in a part-time capacity, music, so we're lucky to get her here.
Fantastic.
Mhm.
Fantastic. At this time, I'd like to call for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Future meetings, agenda items, board workshop, February 14th. That's not right, is it?
Valentine's Day.
That's
No,
not-
board workshop.
Not happening.
That's not, that's the 29th, isn't it?
Terry would do that.
Really?
It was that
We
way.
have done a Valentine's Day
We did-
workshop.
Well, I'll tell you what,
we did
it's
do
not
it
happening.
once, like,
Yeah.
You can do it if you want, but I ain't gonna be here.
Board workshop is the 29th.
It is the 14th.
No, isn't it the
Well, we have one the 29th as well, but next month, the Thursday before the Tuesday.
Oh,
is-
you're right. That's our regular Thursday meeting.
But
Not anymore, it's not.
we're not having it.
Propose making it a Wednesday meeting?
Well, what about doing it, I'm gonna be gone that week on vacation. I did talk to Brian, it's discipline next month.
We got a big one, so we gotta have a meeting on it.
So we could do the Monday night before.
Monday, the night before the meeting?
Yeah, the 18th,
I'd be okay with that, I think.
to give you off Valentine's Day, so you can spend time with your wife.
I'm not so much worried about that, but I think that is a big one, and there may be other people that want to come to it, so I wouldn't make it on Valentine's Day.
No, I concur.
Yeah, so any other day's fine.
So we're thinking Monday, the
18th.
18th?
2 meetings in a row?
Yeah.
What's that?
Two meetings in a row?
That's gonna hurt.
Hurt less than Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
I don't know if we wanna talk about discipline on Valentine's Day, no matter what.
maybe the Wednesday?
You do the
I
13th.
was
Wednesday or-
thinking Wednesday possibly, yeah, the Wednesday or
Tuesday or
13th.
Wednesday the week before?
Fine with Wednesday.
I'm fine with that.
No, I'm not good with Wednesday. Wednesday doesn't work for me.
Tuesday, the 12th?
I'm scoring basketball, so I would just have to get out of that. I can be here though, I can switch.
I have golf weekend Wednesday.
Really, golf already?
Indoor.
Tuesday the 12th,
How about the 11th is Lions meeting.
So we're looking at Tuesday the 12th or Monday the 18th.
Monday the 18th is a question mark, yeah, I don't know.
Either one's fine with me.
I vote
Can you get out of that, Brian?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm out of it.
Does he need to be here? I mean, do you need to be, you wanna be here?
Well, I won't be here though.
He'll be on vacation, so
Yeah.
You're
you
gone
get.
all week?
I'm gonna be gone the 12th, so if you do it the 18th, you've got me.
18th isn't good for me, that won't work.
Okay.
Do you leave the 11th, or do you leave the, are you gone the whole week?
The 9th.
Oh, you leave the 9th?
Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta be here, Jerry.
So, is it the week of the 4th
I don't think I
then?
need to be.
You don't need to be.
Brian can,
Yep. Yep,
Okay.
so the 12th it is?
12th it is.
Okay.
You'll talk to Megan for me?
Well,
I feel bad about that, Brian, but, well.
No, you're fine.
I know you enjoy being there at those games, and I know they enjoy having you there.
But our next meeting is January 29th, so is that on everybody's calendar?
It is on my calendar, January 29th, we have a board workshop, 2.5 hours.
Is all.
It's February 12th, right?
What day of the week is it?
It's a Tuesday.
It's not Wednesday.
Yeah.
We'll stay away
February
from
12th
Wednesdays.
starts at 6.
Hmm?
February 12th starts at 6, or 6.
Yes.
Correct, 6.
6 PM, yes. And we'll try to, I think, as Brian said, I think I know of a couple people that have indicated interest, so we'll have to just notify them and post it as normal.
I know they all wanna be there for financial planning, don't they?
They all want to be there for financial planning.
They wanna come hang out.
That's a biggie.
So we are gonna be covering discipline, operational legislation 12, and, governance policy, GP 10, conflict of interest, and then other board work, academic excellence scholarship, forecast 5, financial forecast. Start college now, second, Friday in January count, achievement gap reduction.
Lots going on, yeah.
A lot going on. I do have something else I wanted to review here.
Said that was the 29th.
Yeah. Tuesday the 29th.
We have another policy I wanted to cover before we leave here tonight. I'm just seeing if I can get a rise out of Brian by saying that.
I'm ready to make this move.
In the
But
absence.
you did wanna do, you wanted to make a revision on the policy that we approved tonight around the administrator.
We do need to.
Okay.
When.
Well, why don't you and I look at that and then?
We'll look at that. I would like to make sure we have it done by June 15th. But I think we need to identify those policies. We've discussed several of them. Let's look at the board, let's look at the work. I think we've put the comments in. And we'll try to we'll need to get the policy committee together. And the other issues, gentlemen, that we'd like to talk about this evening. I'd like to thank everybody for being here tonight again. I think the best part of the night was congratulating the Safeway bus driver and Rod Winters for saving a young woman's life. And that's just, we have a very dedicated we have a dedicated staff, dedicated bus drivers, and we need to be very proud of the district that we serve in here today, guys. So with that in mind, thank you, and I'd like to offer a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.